In the early summer of 1462, Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II marched an army of 150,000 soldiers across the Danube River into the Principality of Wallachia. He expected an easy conquest. Instead, the Sultan ordered an immediate retreat. His massive force hadn't lost a pitched battle. They had simply broken down psychologically after marching into a literal forest of 20,000 impaled human bodies. The architect of that gruesome display was Vlad III, commonly known as Vlad the Impaler. This was a calculating 15th century prince weaponizing psychological horror to keep his territory alive. This map shows his geographical trap. Wallachia was caught between the expanding Ottoman Empire and Hungary. Sent south as a hostage, Vlad grew up captive while his father and brother were assassinated by local nobles. Growing up a prisoner while his family was slaughtered taught him a brutal geopolitical reality. In a region entirely devoid of stability, extending mercy practically guaranteed your own death. Extreme terror was the only effective shield. When Vlad finally secured his second and most significant reign over Wallachia in 1456, his immediate priority was the absolute consolidation of his fractured local power. Here, in the ruins of the Targoviste princely court, he executed his first major strategic move. He invited the boyars, the local nobles responsible for murdering his father and brother, to a banquet, before having them systematically purged to eliminate internal treason. To execute them, he adopted his famous method of impalement. These stakes, often arranged in precise concentric circles and ordered by the victim's social rank, served as a highly visible, systematized method of execution designed to project unbending authority. With internal rivals eliminated, he turned to economic threats. When Transylvanian Saxons supported rival claimants to his throne and disrupted Wallachian trade, Vlad marched his troops into their villages, plundered their goods, and mass impaled the captives. But the Saxons held a distinct technological advantage over the Wallachian prince. They had early access to the newly invented printing press. Looking at this 15th century German woodcut, you can see how the Saxons retaliated through sheer information warfare. They printed highly exaggerated, horrific pamphlets detailing Vlad's extreme cruelty, turning his actions into Europe's first true crime bestsellers. The exact methods of calculated terror Vlad used to secure local control inadvertently provided the fuel for a permanent international smear campaign. By 1461, Vlad stopped paying his annual tribute to the Ottomans. When Sultan Mehmed sent envoys to demand the payment, they refused to remove their turbans, citing religious custom. Vlad responded by nailing the headwear directly to their skulls. This scale visualization highlights the dire military mismatch that followed. The Sultan invaded with an army of 150,000 men. Vlad commanded a local force of roughly 30,000. Defending Wallachia in a traditional pitched battle was a mathematical impossibility. Outnumbered 5-1, Vlad shifted to scorched earth tactics. He ordered his own army to burn Wallachian crops, to kill the livestock, and poison local water wells, leaving the advancing Ottomans to starve. He even deployed a primitive form of biological warfare. Vlad paid citizens infected with lethal diseases, like leprosy and the bubonic plague, to infiltrate the Ottoman camps and mingle with the soldiers. The campaign climaxed on the night of June 16, 1462. In what became known as the night attack at Targoviste, Vlad led a high-speed, torch-lit cavalry raid deep into the Ottoman camp, attempting to assassinate the Sultan in his sleep. His soldiers attacked the wrong tents and missed the Sultan entirely. Yet the sheer psychological terror of the nighttime raid, followed immediately by the discovery of the 20,000 impaled bodies, achieved Vlad's strategic goal. The exhausted, terrified Ottoman army abandoned the campaign and retreated. Despite successfully driving out a massive imperial invasion, Vlad's victory was hollow. Terrified by his unyielding brutality, his own people slowly abandoned his ranks, defecting to his younger brother, Radu, who promised a more compliant, Ottoman-backed rule. Forced to flee into the Carpathian Mountains, Vlad sought sanctuary in Hungary. Instead, King Matthias Corvinus, identified on this bronze medal, betrayed him. Corvinus used a series of forged letters accusing Vlad of Ottoman collusion to justify locking him in a Hungarian prison for 14 years. Released in 1475 to fight the Ottomans once more, Vlad briefly reclaimed his throne, but his third reign lasted only months. He was killed in combat during the winter of 1476, his severed head sent to Constantinople to be displayed on a high stake. Today, his historical legacy remains sharply divided. The mass killings he carried out amount to undeniable war crimes by modern standards. Yet locally, he is revered as a patriot who defended his homeland against overwhelming foreign invasion. More than 4 centuries later, an Irish author named Bram Stoker stumbled across the name Dracula, meaning son of the dragon, while reading a book on Wallachian history. He scavenged the title to create his fictional vampire, overwriting the complex historical reality. The real Vlad the Impaler proves that extreme terror, used as a ruthless tool of statecraft, can successfully ensure a fragile nation's survival. He just paid for it with his humanity.